like the first person to ask the first one.
Yeah,
Something like
first
that.
question. Hey, Moti, you lowered the hand or what?
No, 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 not.
Okay. So Amrita, can you facilitate this whom to ask next question, first question, etc. Just call up
Yeah.
Nana, right?
Okay. Okay. So first question with Moti. Over to you, Moti. Pramod,
Thank you,
it's your
thank you.
call.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amrita, for facilitating this interview call. Let's go with Pramod sir. Okay, Pramod, how are you? How is your day?
I'm really doing good, great, Srinivas. Thank you so much.
Okay, I don't really have much time. I'll start the interview immediately.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your understanding on what is agile and why it is important.
Oh, that's a very broad question, Srinivas. I do not know how do we say what is an agile. Um, Agile is a mindset. That's a kind of a real first definition. It's a mindset with a framework, with set of principles, values, which is adopted for incremental development, collaboration, and adaptability. So mainly, let me put it agile in the context of software development. That's what we are doing, right? So there was an industrial revolution happened, and there was all the they were doing, all the companies, all the organizations, all the industries were doing a pretty waterfall level way of development. And that's where software also as an industry came up, and that time software also adopted the same waterfall way of development. In 2001, there are 17 software developers meet together and discussed about what can be improve the way of software development. And they came up with Agile Manifesto, core values, individuals and interactions over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. That was the basis of all our Agile uh, movement in software development. So later they came with the 12 principle that became a founding stone for all agile way of working, and many software companies were adopting it. So let me give you very quick with the second part of your question was why is it important, right? Maybe I can connect that one with the same principles only. So with the traditional waterfall way of software development or any kind of a development, waterfall way of development, it was much more focused on the process and tools than individuals and interactions. So that's the first principle came in. We want to give more focus on individuals and interactions over process and tools. Why it is required? Because waterfall way of development, like think about a car manufacturing, more importance is the process and controls and tools, not the individuals and interaction, because process is it. But software development is not like that. There is a lot of uncertainty in development, so there's not many have to have the individuals and interactions. That is really important. Second thing is working software over comprehensive documentation. Again, coming to the waterfall way of development, there is very heavy usage of documentation, requirement documentation, function specification document, design documentation, each stage sign off, and all those things. Heavy documentation. But a very faster development, they found out it's not really required the documentation. More importance is the working software. Now, second is software development is a very inherently very complex development. So there is not, because keep on changing, the requirement can changes, market can be changes. There are so many things can happen. So there is a customer collaboration, working closely with customer compared to contract negotiation. So in earlier waterfall methodology, there is an SOW, statement of work and agreement clauses and everything, and people go with that one. So there are several projects were failed because they were not ready to flexible enough. That's where the agile came in, with customer collaboration versus contract negotiation. Last one is about responding to change over following a plan. Again, since this is unknown territory you are walking, so there is a very much need of responding to change and keeping instead of keeping one plan. So planning is everything. You need to have plan, But plans are nothing. You need to have the inspect and adaptability mindset. This is very, very critical in this kind of a business now, because market can change everything in a minute. Something changed, some new changes comes in. For example, recently, last 2 years, ChatGPT came in. There are so many new projects came in, new products came in. Everything has to change it. Now, if some company do not really change it, I think they will get soon vanish, like many other big companies were vanished in last decade. So same way this will also go. That's why this agile is very important for any business to be adopted. I am not very sure that whether I answered all of your points correctly, but I just put that question very specific to software perspective, and I was just trying to answer that one, Srinivas. Any further questions on this one?
Sir, we all know these things, but the way you collated it, it just shows that how much preparation we'll get in the coming future.
Thank you. Next question, Amrita.
Okay, Ms. Ansari, your next question.
Okay, hi, Pramod. So, next
Directly ask
question.
question. Yeah.
How will you convince the management to follow Agile? How will you ensure they understand its benefits?
Oh, Shesta, thank you for that question. That's very interesting question, actually. Like your question is, if I paraphrase, is how will I convince the management to go for Agile, and what kind of how do I ensure they understand the benefits of the Agile implementation? Is that whether the need of going to Agile? I think I have some controversial answer probably. I don't think I will be able to convince anyone directly go and tell this is what you should take it up. There's a beautiful quote which I always believe. People don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. Which means you need to, whoever you wanted to convince or you want to say a point, first of all, you need to understand them. What are their concerns where they are currently facing? Consider your company, they are doing perfectly well. Whatever the methodology they use, they are perfectly well. They are beating the market, they are doing great. Nobody care whether they are doing Agile or not. Absolutely. Now there is no point in needing to change in the Agile also, because they are doing extremely well in that organization. Whatever the methodology they use it. So we need to understand what is their concerns. If their concerns is flexibility, their concerns is the customer complaints, or their complaints is the quality, then Agile can be a solution if they adopted correctly. Then we can probably present a case studies and situation, their market competitions, how they adopted, then share the stories, illustrate to them. And if you don't get into this kind of forget about Agile as a methodology, like, the mindset, end of the day, mindset has to be required. If they get it, then they will ready to implement. Once we are ready to implement, we can really take a small project, pilot into Agile, providing the support, assurance, and then we can take it to Agile and show the real benefit coming for them. Only then people will get convinced. No senior leader. Think about a person who's 60, 70 years old. He built up the whole organization in a waterfall model. He was so proud about his company and everything. You cannot sell with them Agile, because they believe their process. So only by understanding them, listening to them, learning from them, or sharing them, then understand their problem, and then this is the problem. Okay, there are a lot of quality issues. Now think about an highly self-organized team. How do they manage it? That is an example of Agile team. Now, how do you make a high-performing team, self-organized team? That is the way Agile process will help you to bring up that one, and that can take care of customer complaints. And if they convinced on that, they will be ready to onboard on Agile. Otherwise, I don't think we can. So personally, I don't think we need to convince anybody unless they really know. We have to build the connectivity. We have to build the trust, and then there are enough of case studies available in the market to show that one. Shaista, I'm not sure whether I answered correct question correctly or not, but
Yeah,
thought
it's
process.
really.
Thank you.
Your answer was very convincing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Shraddha, you can come up with your third question. Question number 3.
Yeah. Hi, Pramod.
Hey, Shaista.
So my question is, how many teams you have handled? How
No.
was your experience handling multiple teams?
1 second. Yeah. Okay. Saida, I think I had a confusion about it. I thought this question I removed.
Okay.
Not a problem. That's fine. Still, I'll answer this question. So,
Okay. Should I repeat the
no,
question?
I got the question, Saida. Let me paraphrase what I understand. So, your question is mainly how many teams I have handled, and what kind of an experience and challenges I have faced by doing the multiple teams, probably something like that, right?
Yeah.
Let me try to share with you. See, I have 14 plus years of experience, and 14 plus years of experience, I was into leadership role for last 4 or 5 years, and I have handled several teams, several teams. But however, I can think about a project which I have been previously in a couple of years where I was handling 2 teams in parallel, right? So I was a scrum master for 2 different teams at that point of time. So I think it was little challenging. It's not that great deal. It was little challenging because of there are conflicting schedules for the scheduling of these events. We have sprint planning for 4 hours. We have sprint review for 1.5 hours. Sprint retrospective for so there is kind of an overlapping of that one. So I had to manage very effectively on that one. That was one of the challenge which has happened. But otherwise, I think it was a pretty not a big deal about it. But my focus was when I was handling that kind of a team, I was making sure that the team is self-organized. Even they can run without my full-time presence. Otherwise, they will not conduct sprint planning just because I'm not there. They don't conduct daily stand-up meeting or daily scrum meeting because scrum master is not there. That would not really give the result for the team, result for the management. Delivery will get impacted. That I made sure that things are there and I'm available. But if not, I'm not there for a daily stand-up meeting. That should not stop. Somebody else step up and take it up. That kind of a self-organizing or cross-team collaboration is what I was focusing because I was handling 2 teams in simultaneously. But I remember correctly, after a couple of months, then we have changed a pattern. Like one of the teams starting Wednesday as a sprint planning, and another team started Thursday sprint planning, so that they don't kind of overlap of the events. But there is not both teams are no correlation between. So I was able to manage those things. But yeah, this is the way I think I have. And I do not know whether I answered all the question you asked, or I'm not sure whether is it anything which I can add on this one, or this is fine.
Actually, the
think
last
that
point
was
I
a
have
good
already
answer.
done. In actuality, I have already done that, but this thing never came up in my mind.
Good one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Saida, for if you are satisfied with the action. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, panel. So, Anand, your question next.
Okay,
Anand Babu. Yep.
sir. Okay. Hi, Pramod. Here is a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What are the major challenges faced during agile transformation process?
Oh, that's a very broad question. Let me tell you, Ananta. So your question is about agile transformation. So yes,
Yeah.
in my experience, I have handled some of the projects which is just transitioning from from waterfall to agile. So if I can recollect some of the challenges which I faced was first thing that commitment from the leadership team. So as I said earlier, agile is a mindset, and if leaders do not have the mindset, they will easily go back to their conventional way of delivering the value by waterfall way. So they will hold the team accountable for the old metric and the old way of working. They don't have any value for the sprint planning. They don't have any value for the retrospective actions. They don't trust the team. They will believe on micromanagement. In that kind of an environment, even the people wanted to do agile also, things will not happen. For example, so we have a sprint planning is done, everything is done, and we think we are about to go ahead, and all of a sudden one of the senior leader comes up, stop all this work, take up this one. Where is the priority? Where is the PO? Where is the value? Nothing happened. But he gets used to get these things done all last several years. So he think that team wanted to get it done that way. So kind of an environment where management is not supporting is really a difficult place to be. That remind me of one of the story. So I was part of a leadership team meeting where we are talking about another one of our counterpart in Netherlands. They visited their leaders visited us here, and we were talking about how is agile transformation, what is it happening with him, what is the next step for agile transformation. And all of a sudden he said something, guys, let's not talk about agile. We are firefighting. 50% of our workforce is resigned, and I have to run the business. I don't have any time for agile. If they are coming from that attitude, like, agile is another task which I need to do, that is totally a different mindset. It's like they need to know, now you have less workforce, implementing agile can only save them. Instead of they saying, no, I'll not do agile, I'll do agile when I have people. That's a mindset. That's what I told you about. It's about the leadership and their mindset. So second thing, which is always, as a human being, we all resist to changes. We all wanted to be in our comfort zone. People who's always working on a waterfall model, they really don't like that agile model of working. They can find out fault, they can find out why it is not working, etc., etc. There are a lot many reasons will be there. But again, that required a kind of a grooming, counseling, coaching, and mentoring, and helping them to understand the agile principles and show the value why we are doing it, and show the value if you don't do what will happen. Make sure they are aligned to it. And it is not an overnight journey. There's changing resistance. It really takes time. And third could be one of the major challenges I found out, there are lack of understanding some of the agile principles and values. Okay, so somebody says that you say like working software or over comprehensive documentation, so we'll not write any documentation. That's not the intent here. We need to make it efficient. You don't really need focus on more comprehensive documentation, rather than you can say the minimum required documentation and focus on working deliverable, working software. So that kind of a misconception, etc., is what really required. And the last, I think, as a company, as an organization, as a team, there is a culture already set in. And the culture, breaking the culture and mindset change is the biggest challenge. If you look at it, I think I can think about all these challenges are the major one, which is coming in the bigger umbrella. There are minor challenges like, the way you work each other, the kind of the interactions between the team, the normal hierarchy of software companies do not really support agile. So all the things will be there. But other than that, this is the overarching pattern I can think about. Does it answer, Anand?
Yeah, that was very wonderful. You have covered
Okay,
almost
thank you.
all the teams, from team to the higher levels.
Thank
That was
you.
well covered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arnold.
Okay, Amit from the panel, your question next. Fifth one.
Hello, Pramod.
Hey, Amit.
Hi. So here's the next question to you. So how did you make the team understand that why the metrics are important?
That's a very interesting question. So I remember there is a beautiful quotation from, I forgot the author of it. I think it is that management guru Peter Drucker. He said that you can't manage what you can measure. You can't manage what you can't measure. Or there is another quotation, what get measured, get done. So if you don't focus on the metrics, absolutely there is no clue what's happening, what's the progress happening, are we going to get this one, etc. So when you put it in an organization context, it's very important to measure so that the success is a shared understanding for everyone. Like developer says I'm making enough progress and somebody else says I'm making enough progress, that's not really leading to working software and value getting into the customer or organization. So that's where this measurement is very, very important. And more important is what need to be measured and what is the implication of measuring. I just give you an anti-pattern here. Some of the team, what happened is,
என்னாச்சு?
can you please go on mute? Okay, thank
சரி,
you.
ஓகே. சாப்பிட்டியா ஏதாவது?
Okay. Yeah, sorry for that interruption. So Amit, so I remember sometime, there was a team measuring velocity, which is very common measure for subsystem. Management keep on asking why your velocity is low, why is velocity is low. The team decided to inflate the velocity. Instead of 5 story point, they say 8 story point. They inflate that velocity, right? Are we getting the value done? That's the really doing agile to being agile. It's a concept, right? We just follow agile or be agile. That's what the concept is. So the software developers are really smart people. Okay, if they know what is a metric need to be measured, and they will get it done. If you want 100% is efficiency is what we are looking for, they will take lesser item and they'll make sure all completed. But that's not the mindset. So that's what you measure is very important. Set the tone on the culture of the team. And how do not only just measure, what is the use of that metric? That's also important. Whether the metric is used by the management to repairment team, I know they will know how to handle it. They will very soon handle it without any changes in the output, right? So we need to take a decision in what way the metrics use it. How do they going to impact the people's psychological safety of people? All of them are really important. Thank you, Amit. That's a beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, panel. So Anjali's yours question next, the sixth one.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a follow-up question on the same. So what all metrics are necessary?
So thank you, Anjali. So I very interestingly I can say that I have worked in several 2-3 companies but many different verticals. So each of these verticals or in our companies, each department or each vertical measure different metrics. So as an individual, as a Scrum Master, I don't get a choose to what metrics I used to use. My manager asks me to measure this one, or my leadership asks me to measure that one. I have to measure that. That's the way I need to function in the organization. And there is a reason for why they are asking what they are asking. For example, one of the leadership asking for customer satisfaction result. That's a metric which they want. Maybe another one, they don't have that one. So it's okay. But for as a Scrum Master, we don't really have a real grip on what metric you should measure. There are metrics which organization asks us to do to measure, and that way to measure. And there are two kind of metrics mainly. One is leading metrics and lagging metrics. Leading metrics are something where if we measure, we can adjust their outcome. But lagging metrics are that based on the outcome, right? It's already something happened and you find it out. Or how many defects? Yeah, you said number of defects, right? That is a lagging metric where knowing how many defects cannot reduce a defect. But if you say your progress is going in such a way that you are not able to complete as many story points, then you can say, okay, do something more, maybe get more people so that we can able to meet that. That's a kind of a leading metric. So mainly they're completed in this one. Now Scrum and Agile, we get most of the metrics from Jira. Jira is a tool which I use. We use sprint velocity, capacity, and burn down chart, burn up chart, sprint report. All of them will look it in. And we also use some of the flow metrics using cumulative flow diagram, lead time, cycle time, aging, throughput, work in progress, and all of them. And then normally the quality metrics like defects, number of defects created now in this sprint, number of defects closed in this sprint, and a number of test cases added, test cases automated. We have a lot of focus on automation. So we also present how many percentage of test cases are automated, and that kind of a metrics. And even some of the projects which I worked, we also count out customer turn back, like how many defects came from the customer reported, etc. And we have a standard template for reporting this on a regular basis to them. So driven from the management, not from as a Scrum Master or yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that
Thank you.
answer. It
And
was really
let me,
nice.
I just got another, remember one point here. So as a team, we have released one metric, which I have not reported to him, is we started looking at how is our retrospective efficiency. What I do is we see how many wanted to implement and how many we actually implemented, right? So, and at the end of the sprint, so this is not I publish it, but we as a team, we have looked at the retrospective efficiency also as a team, right? How do we improve, right? That's an interesting fact there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the last question from Devarchana Panda.
Okay.
Are you in the panel?
Devarchana, where are you? Can you raise the hand?
Okay, she's
Hey,
not
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Devarchana.
your question, the last one.
Can I feel for her?
No, she's there.
She's back.
She's
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think this is the last question we have to go through.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yours
Yeah.
is the last one.
According to you, like what are the 3 measure of qualities of a SM should have?
Oh, Devarjana, that was a googly. I don't know, like it's what are the three qualities of? I think there are several qualities Scrum Master should have. But if you ask me to pick up the top three or top four, I mm, I really appreciate this question, Devarchana, but yeah, I do not know whether I don't know. I know whether right answer or not. Let me share what I know, what comes in top of my mind. The first thing about a Scrum Master should be is a servant leader. I know very fact that Scrum Gate 2020 they have removed the servant leader word and added true leader. But the concept of servant leader, the way I understand is that they make sure the team is in front of them. The team's growth is important than your growth, and having a empathetic listener, giving a space for them to perform, like a mother for kid, right? That kind of an empathetic or servant leadership is very much important, and keeping the team in front of them, protecting them, all of them are very, very important as a Scrum Master. Another thing which I think that as a Scrum Master or the SAFe talks about a team coach, right? Coaching skills and mentoring skills. That is a lot to do with your maturity as a person. How do you listen? How do you comprehend? How do you listen to people non-judgmentally? How do you listen to people, to team members with empathetically? All this takes a long way with your relatedness or connection with the team members, which helps you to finally team to become high performing, supporting, trusting teams to be there. Third thing, if I can look at it, is a Scrum Master should be he should really a good facilitator. Not only the Scrum events but whatever the things required. Okay, if a team really struggling to handle a technical issue, jump in and talk to some architect and find out the customer coordinator who wanted, who get the leadership involved, facilitate a meeting and remove the impediments and take them, take them to out of this difficult times to get successful. That's what very, very important as a Scrum Master, I think. And maybe I have not come in this mentioned three, but I do not know whether it is in top 3 or 4, a continuous learner.
Thanks so much, Pramod. I think it is really appreciated. These all three are the very important to have
Correct.
a Scrum
Yeah.
Master.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.